Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever time zone that you may be in. You have reached behind the steel curtain and its family of podcasts, and this is the Steelers Burning Question. My name is Bryan Anthony Davis, and I'm glad to be sitting in today as we rotate every 4 weeks. Either Jeff Hartman, Dave Schofield, Lance Williams, or myself will go ahead and do this show the day before a game, usually on a Saturday. And we're really excited to go ahead and have this one for you today. Um, Before we get started with the burning question, the question's always asked, how can we help out the show? How can we continue to go ahead and make sure that you keep on doing this? Well, it's very simple. All you have to do is subscribe and like, and that's it. I mean, it'll give you, we have we've been on for 1 minute now, and we have a bunch of people on because they had no warning. It just popped up on their screen because they subscribe. They get notices that we're going to have a show. So here we go. So thank you for joining in. I'm really glad to be with my Steeler BTSC family and hang out with you. I hope everybody had a fantastic Thanksgiving holiday, and I hope it continues with a big December 1st win tomorrow against the Cleveland Browns. But that leads to the question, and the burning question that we're going to talk about today are the Cleveland Browns. And in the past 17 days, have they found a way to go ahead and get into the heads of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Now, a lot of things have gone on. We can go ahead and rehash that. Rehash what happened with Myles Garrett and the body slam and the ripping off the helmet and the racist accusations on Mason Rudolph, the David DeCastro getting fined for being a peacekeeper, Marquise Pouncey getting suspended, Larry Ojunubi, or if that's how you how you pronounce it, being suspended for 1 game, Marquise Pouncey being suspended for 2. All these suspensions, all the fines, everything, 33 in total, I believe. But what's happening now with the Cleveland Browns fans? And it's really interesting. And the media is, even though there's been a lot of victim shaming here, and I wrote an article on BehindTheSteelCurtain.com today that was an open letter to Steelers fans, excuse me, open letter to Browns fans, and I have already become public enemy number one of Browns Nation. That isn't Mason Rudolph, I believe. I've Anybody that read that article, I've gotten a few hate emails from Browns fans, and I actually appreciate that. Not that I want hate emails, but just the fact that it elicited enough of a response. Somebody wanted to try to put me in my place, so I have no problem with that. In fact, when I get those, I actually do respond, and in a kinder way than you would actually understand. Now, this is the big thing too. William Coonrad says Kitchens wearing a shirt Pittsburgh started it. Yeah, so, and then Dennis Sheridan says, I don't understand the crap from the Browns fans. Look, they have been the Steelers' little brother for a long, long time. Pittsburgh's record against them has been, if you're a Browns fan, it's absolutely nauseating. They have nothing. They're 5-6. They're acting like they're going to go ahead and win the Super Bowl. They have to have hope. And hope's a good thing when you're a football fan. They finally feel like their team is going in a direction, but keep in mind who they've beaten in the last few weeks. The Bills, that's a good victory because the Bills we saw on Thanksgiving, they're a pretty good team the way they beat the Dallas Cowboys. But they've also beaten Steelers, a depleted Steelers team, and they have beaten the Miami Dolphins. But they keep on blaming Pittsburgh for starting this, and it's very, I want to say sophomoric, but sophomoric is too mature to actually say. It is very childish to go ahead and say, well, they started it. Well, look, this all started with a body slam, blitzing 3 times with less than 30 seconds left and trying to go ahead and put an exclamation point on a win. And what you did was nothing but make yourself look bad in that situation. But the whole thing that bothers me is how much has all of this media frenzy and this craziness got in the heads of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, it got in the heads enough that last week was the perfect time to go ahead and bench Mason Rudolph. Um, of course, you're not going to do it right after the Cleveland game, but in the middle of the Cincinnati game when it wasn't getting any better, when he was clearly has some problems between the head right now, um, you know, uh, when he obviously has some problems between the head right now with having it. I mean, he's having a really tough time with the concussion, with all this crap that he's going through right now. So I understand that they went ahead and it was a perfect time to go ahead and make the move, and we're hoping that Duck Hodges, Devlin Hodges, can go ahead and get it done. I am going to address this. I'm going to stick up for myself a little bit. Bad looks like he just rolled out of a 2 a.m. session and put on the headset. I have just rolled out of bed, and I'll be honest with you. Ever since the Steelers preview last night, I went straight to bed, and I just got up. I have the some kind of stomach bug has hit the Davis household, so I went and I took a shower, and I have come here trying to go ahead and do the show to the best possible way that I can. Now, Jeff and Dave offered to go ahead and do the show for me, and I appreciate that. So I do look a little rough, but I am rested. I just feel like complete garbage. So I'm going to do the best I can. But if I look bad, yeah, I definitely look like it's been a 2 a.m.er. But with that being said, Freddie Kitchens goes ahead and not only wears a Pittsburgh started its shirt in public, which he said he didn't mean for anybody to see. But guys, come on. If you wear it in public, you mean it for them to see. But he also wore it at a Mister Rogers movie showing, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, played by the incomparable Tom Hanks. And it's funny, I listened to Tom Hanks this week, and I grew up I grew up loving Mister Rogers. Okay, and I even had a my parents were professional cake bakers back in the day, and they actually had for my fourth birthday, I have a picture of me with a Mister Rogers cake, and this is the 1970s. So this is 1975, and I have this Mister Rogers cake that they traced from a coloring book. So I'm a huge fan of his. And so Tom Hanks was saying that he was in an elevator, and when he was filming it, and this gentleman said to him, "I understand you're doing a movie about Mister Rogers." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, how's it going?" "Yeah, pretty good." So as the elevator doors were beginning to shut, the guy sticks his face and goes, "We take Mister Rogers very seriously around here," and that's true. In Pittsburgh, they take Mister Rogers very seriously. Now, not only did Freddie Kitchens wear a Pittsburgh started shirt, he wore it to a movie celebrating a Pittsburgh legend. So either he's just dumb or he's defiant. You guys decide. You tell me whether he is just really stupid or whether he's just one of those guys that just doesn't really care. So, but will this help the Steelers' state of mind? Because here's the thing. I feel that they're trying to get this game out of their heads. And even though the past game, excuse me, on the 14th of November, out of their heads, it was a really rough game for them. I mean, even before all that crap happened. And in fact, all that junk that happened actually made them look a little bit better because it took away from all of the garbage of how horrible they played. It actually let them off the hook a little bit for that. But and here's a mention here from Nap 1963, one of my Steelers buddy. He's been mentioned the past couple of days. He mentions a good buddy of mine who's actually family to me, Chris Romano, made his cakes, and he's been mentioning them on the bulletin board. So one of the reasons I brought that up, yeah, they were really good wedding cakes and birthday cakes. They did them all. Nap 1963, you tell Verbano that he's a legend, and I love him like family. With that being said, are they in the Steelers' heads? Is this? I mean, do the Browns? I feel like they think they're world beaters now. Now, with the fact that it's Duck out there and not Mason, and Duck is, we talked about this, he's playing with house money. He still needs to win, and he knows he needs to win, but he's also playing a little bit with the mindset that he's got nothing to lose and he's just going to go out and do what he can do. And he really believes that he can go ahead and win this game. Tony Defio and I have a article, our point counterpoint article coming out probably tomorrow. And it's saying Tony's point was, and I'll give you a little preview. Tony's point was, if the Steelers just make the playoffs, that's great. Is that good enough? But for me, it's not, because none of these guys, the 53 men on this field that are dressing tomorrow and everybody else in that organization, they're not only just trying to make the playoffs, they're trying to do some damage a la 1989, party like it's 89, if they make the playoffs. But they've got to win first, and that's the thing. So my question to everybody out there, with all this crap that's happened with the victim shaming, with the fact that Pittsburgh started it, and they're kind of there's some commentators out there that are actually jumping on the Browns bandwagon, loving the bad guy, loving the villain, and the Browns are definitely villains in this. But are the Steelers becoming the villains here? What's happening? So let me ask you this: is this just going to be a business as usual game for the Steelers, or are the Browns in their heads? Because as good as the Steelers defense has been, it was not sterling silver in the first half of that game. So please let me know. And remember, we have the live chat here, and I will go ahead and take your questions at the end of the show. But feel free to let me know if you do agree or disagree with those questions. Steve O'Neill asked, do Browns fans show up at Heinz Field? Yeah, I'm sure they do. But if you were trying to get rid of those tickets as a Steeler fan before that game, after November 14th, you weren't, because that became a very, very hot ticket. So, I mean, I wish I had opportunity to get a ticket to that game. I'm glad I didn't buy a ticket, because I do feel absolutely horrible right now. But I will be watching it. I'll be watching it from whistle to whistle, and I cannot wait. That's the one thing that's getting me through this little bug. The fact that tomorrow at 1 p.m., I canceled my friends coming over. I always have Steelers Central at my house, but I cannot wait for this game tomorrow. So I'm hoping that the Steelers are just more fired up with this game coming up. But I hope that it's not in their heads that they can't get past them. Justin Conway says, I think the Browns are in their heads. So that's definitely a possibility. But Mr. Marcus 37, he jumps in and says, hey, I think it was a fluke game. And that very well could be too. A lot of us prognosticated these games before. Dave Schofield, Jeff Hartman, and I, we did the entire schedule at the beginning of the year. I redid it in the middle of the year. I kept on thinking that that November 14th game might be a very tough game for them, and I actually went ahead and picked against them. And I did. I picked against the Steelers yesterday in the preview, and I do apologize for anybody that thinks I'm a traitor. It's just I'm going with my gut. My gut's bad right now, so maybe my gut's off. But I'm starting to feel a little bit better about it, and I need you guys to help me with that. So we're going to talk about the Steelers defense and how they can go ahead and get a hold of gosh, I can't remember his name, Baker Mayfield, all of a sudden, who actually, and you're going to hate me for saying this, I actually have a lot more respect for Mayfield with his comments after that game, unless he did change any of them. But right after that game, he was disappointed in what happened, and you can't have that. And that's what a leader says. So I like that. But they could not track that guy down. What plans do the defense have to go ahead and stop Baker Mayfield? Because they were not getting to him in that game. They had a lot of rush, but he was escaping. And can another number 6, Devlin Duck Hodges, have the escapism as well? So that's the question there. Reginald Rivers asked, Bad, do you think the Steelers should put Connor on IR? No. That's not the worst idea, but if he could go ahead and he could get back what he was doing in the first 6 weeks of the season, and because he really helped win a few of those games. He was the Steelers MVP at one point, um, through I would say through the first half until he got hurt again. If he can go ahead and get there and get back, he could really benefit this team going forward. I think they need him. I think they need Juju. With that being said, now Juju has more of a problem with the knee. Um, so and he's going to get back as well. But right now you're putting stock in guys like Dion Kane, who Sir Lancelot Williams calls Superman because of Dean Kane, which that's a fun name. But at 6'2", he's a burner. Kareth White is another guy. He runs a 4.3. If you can get him the ball on the screen, we don't know if he can really catch the ball yet, but I'm sure he can. If you can get some Willie Parker type action out of a guy like this, so you play with what you got, and you hope a guy like Connor can come back. That's really what I'm saying in this. Tomlin got to have a plan, is what William Coonrad says. I'm putting faith in him. Call me crazy. No, I think he's had more of a plan than ever this season. Remember, Chuck Knowles, and I keep on talking about this 1989 season because it was a really special season for me. I mean, they started off 92-10, losing to Cleveland 51-0. Then they lost and that was in Pittsburgh. Then they lost the next week in Cincinnati 42-10. And so 41-10. So 92-10 was the total deficit that they faced going into week 3, and they beat a team that was in the conference championship, the Minnesota Vikings, in week 3. They had to get a lot of help, but when they were magic in the playoffs, it ran out in Denver right before the AFC Championship game. But they very easily could have, with some luck, could have really gotten into that AFC Championship game against the Cleveland Browns of all teams. But that was 30 years ago. You're facing a whole lot more. But the plan is just keep on working, get into the playoffs right now. I told you about the angry letters that I got on email, the angry emails I got. And I've actually I've been, like I said, I do respond to those, but and I respond, like I said, I responded very kindly to this, but it's just saying that I'm being short-sighted in this whole thing as being a Steeler fan, and I'm that Mason Rudolph did start it. So this is one of those things that with this whole Pittsburgh starting it thing, I'm still wondering if it's in their heads. So please let me know about that, and let me know exactly what your thoughts are on that. We do have the super chat available that if you go ahead and put money in the pot, it helps towards any giveaways that we have, just putting the show together in general. And we do appreciate that. Isaac Aguilera, a big fan of the show, big supporter of our show. He puts in $5. I'm working tonight, get off at 6 a.m. Pacific time. We will only be sleeping till the game starts, so we better win. LOL. You can take the LOL off, Isaac. We better win, right? But I tell you what, I mean, thank you. I don't know if you are currently in the military. That picture suggests that you are. So if you're working in the military, thank you for all that you do for our country. We appreciate your service. Ohio Biker says, let me go pull this up. Be nice to me and my son tomorrow. We will be at the game. He was born in '88. Last time we swept you guys. Yeah. Look, I will say this. If you encounter somebody wearing brown and orange tomorrow at the game, treat them with respect. I mean, don't be a dick to them. And I mean, can I say dick? I mean, well, I just did, but don't do that. I mean, look, they're fans for the same reason we're fans, and that's something we want them to remember. I have a story that I'll never forget, and it's something that I did. It was the AFC Championship game back in January of 2005, but to end the 2004 season, Ben's fantastic 15-1 rookie year. So after that game, I mean, it was evident that the Steelers were going to lose. I was with my buddy who was really drunk. And he's like, "Ah, dude, I'm leaving. Let's go." I'm like, "No, I'm staying till the end. I don't want to. I want to wait until the crowd dies down because I don't want to get in a fight with angry Steeler fans, um, because they were really up. I mean, the season ended, and they were really upset, and I didn't want to go ahead and I didn't want to go ahead and get in that mess. I didn't really want to see the that team celebrate on my field, but Joe Namath was there and they were celebrating. I figured I'd stick around. And the only people that were still there at the time were New England fans, and they all went down to the bottom. I was in the closed end zone at the time, and I was in 225 just sitting there, and I decided, hey, I'll go down and get closer and look at it. And I'm wearing a Joey Porter jersey. And as I'm walking down, this guy, this Patriots fan wearing a Ty Law jersey, bumps into me. And it wasn't horrible. He just knocked into me. It was an accident, and I knew it. And he's like, "Oh, hey, I'm sorry." I'm like, "Buddy, enjoy the Super Bowl," because I actually had tickets to the Super Bowl and I didn't get to go because he took my tickets. I said, "Enjoy, good luck in the Super Bowl." And I shook his hand, and he looks at me. This Patriots fan was like, "Are you kidding me?" And I'm like, "No, enjoy, enjoy the win. Good luck. We'll get you next year." And so what he said to me at this point was like, "I've never had a Steeler fan treat me like that. Thank you." I'm like, "Look, you're here for the same reason." He said, "Can I take your picture with me?" I'm like, "You know what? Why the hell not? We can." So we went ahead and I took a picture with this guy. I said, "Oh, one condition, I'm not smiling." He goes, "That's fine." So and that's what in the world am I typing? What does that mean? So I'm not sure what that means. But what I'm trying to get at here is like, look, if you encounter a Browns fan, don't be a jerk to them. Just be cool to them. Unless they get if they get angry at you, if they're horrible to you, call security, call somebody in those yellow jackets. They'll have no problem ejecting them, but be cool. That's all I'm asking. Let's remember, it's the season. We just Thanksgiving, and everybody talks about Thanksgiving. Everybody's thankful, and then on Black Friday they go turn around and beat each other up. But what I'm saying is, why are you hitting something off screen, bad? I don't know what I'm doing. Actually, it's my chair. There you go. Let me try that. Um, so thanks for bringing that up to me. It was my chair. I'm in a different area of my house today. So there you go. So I do apologize for that noise. That should stop. If it keeps on going, let me know. Um, but so yeah, that's so if you run into Ohio Biker tomorrow, Ohio Biker, I would probably tone down the Browns wear, because if I ever go to an Oakland game in Oakland, well, they're not going to be in Oakland much longer, but or in Philadelphia to a Philly Steelers game, I'm probably not really. I'm not probably going to not dress in a like an Elvis Steeler costume or something like that. So let's just try to go ahead and like Keystone Wolf 814 says, stay classy. Let's uh let's do the best to go ahead and do that. Because you don't want to end up in jail after the game just because of football. I mean, if you're going to end up in jail, make sure that it means something really, really, really to you. Not just a football game, just not because some guy showed up with his kid to the game. I heard this story once. I mentioned Philadelphia fans. I think they're horrendous sometimes. And a family member of mine, they lived in Philadelphia for many years, but about 10 years before they lived in Chicago. So they went to an Eagles Bears game in Philadelphia, and the kid who was about 12 at the time was wearing a Bears jacket, and they just destroyed this kid the entire time that they had to leave. And look, I mean, the fact that they don't get to see their team at all at the time, they don't get to see them, and they come to their hometown, and you're just getting on them. Come on, don't do that. I mean, there's got to be some anger, but have fun with it. Just like I did with the Patriots fan, just have fun with them. Just like, oh look, man, I hope you lose. I hope you're just not happy at 4:15, and your drive home is pretty rough. But I understand. But you get home safe. So there you go. Will there be a lot of Cleveland fans at that game? I don't know. But go ahead and be cool to them if they are. And yeah, Dante Harris, there is a Browns fan in this chat. And hey, they're all welcome. You know, you know my role. Just be cool, right? Hey, any fan is welcome on the site, and I appreciate that. But just like I said, as long as they're cool to us, we'll be cool with them. We just wear like Jerry Seinfeld says, we just root for different laundry, right? And I know it's a lot more than laundry, but I'm trying for a kumbaya moment here. Uh, there we go. So, what are your thoughts on the game tomorrow? We've already talked. Some people thinking that the Browns are in their heads. A lot of people on the live chat are saying, no, you know what? Um, they don't really think they think the Steelers will be all business. But what's the bottom line? Is this what we really wanted? Because we wanted Mason Rudolph out of there. But is Duck Hodges really the guy? You know what? He does have some intangibles that you just don't teach. He's got moxie, he's got poise out there, and I hope he could do it. But remember, after we went 2 for 2, he also went 3 for 11 to end that game. But they were riding with Benny Snell Jr. and they weren't passing as much. So there's a lot of things to happen in this game. Is the defense going to have to control this game again and win this game? Yeah, probably. They're probably going to have to win this game. But if the offense could muster something, gosh, if the offense could score in the 20s, then you got a team going for the rest of the season. And look, you got Duck in there. You're happy that Duck's in there. Duck is playing for his job right now because there's nothing to say that he's in there for the whole season if he has a horrible game. If he does, it's Mason Rudolph in Arizona. So if you want Duck, you want him to have the game of his life tomorrow, and he needs to really have it tomorrow. And I don't think pressure gets to a guy like this. So that's a good thing too. But look, anybody that mentions Paxton Lynch, you're pining for Paxton right now. Come on. Is that the guy we really want in there? We always want the next guy. We might have to give this guy some time. I hope even if Duck doesn't have the best game tomorrow, that he is given some time to see what he can do. But you just don't want to lose sight of the season because, hey, the goal is still get there, get to the playoffs, and see what happens. That's what I say. Deal with it. At bad, Mason doesn't go through his progressions. He sticks to his pre-snap read, and that's why he's intercepted so often. Duck gonna help us win. Man, I hope you're right. So I already yesterday I took some heat because I went ahead and Dave Schofield did too. We kind of prognosticated that the Steelers lose this game. You guys are kind of helping me out right now that I'm starting to second guess that. I'm just not going to change it. I'm going to stick with my pick yesterday. And like I said, hope the gut's bad. Hope I'm wrong. And that's the bottom line to it. Canada in the house. X Eddie B, love the show. Go Steelers tomorrow. Thanks, X Eddie B. Really appreciate this. So, what are your thoughts about the game tomorrow? Who wins this game? Does something happen that we see Mason Rudolph in this game? That could very well happen if it's injury. Dennis Sheridan says, "Bad. It's going to be tough. Win if we can pull it off." Hey, you know what we do? We go ahead and we'll take tough wins. We're kind of accustomed to it. So Joe said your guts are bad. You said so. Yeah, I did. And so Michael O'Malley's saying 24-10. I like that. I hope that happens. Mr. Davis to Mr. Davis, Bill Davis, respect whatever you pick. It's all good with me, Mr. Davis. I appreciate that. DL will get to Mason this time around and early. Hey, Greg Robinson is not in this game. And another guy that's not in this game on defense is Demarius Randall as well. We've got some more here. Snowman. Snowman's big fan of our show. Big support of our show. Steelers win 15-10. Gyro says Steelers win 16-13. Dallas Quinley. And look, everybody's opinion I respect on here too, because you guys have been with us all season long. When I see these names like Dallas Quinley and Gyro and Snowman and Steve O'Neill and all these names getting bent with Bo, I appreciate it because you're my Steeler family, you're my BTSC family, so I respect it. Like I said, I hope I'm wrong, but I love that the Dallas said got to be OT. And hey, an OT game makes me nervous, but they could win those. Trenton Simpson, the Watt, is going to get 3 sacks. I like that, the Watt. Yeti says Baker's getting sacked 4 times. That would be awesome. And then getting bent with Bo says, that's right, fam. I tell you what, I love, that's why I enjoy this chat. I enjoy being on these shows. This is something I've always, dreamed of doing, talking about the Steelers. And, it's just basically a chance for me to, I have a regular job like all of you do. This is a hobby to me, but I appreciate you welcoming all of us in your lives. And we talk about the Steelers, and I'm excited for this game. So we will talk to you all tomorrow. Make sure you check out after the game. Go directly to BTSC. If you've already subscribed, you're going to know about it. You're going to go ahead and like the show and subscribe. We're still trying to get to 5,000 subscribers, and then Lance wants us to get to 6. So there we go. Who did that tune? We Are Family. Is everyone playing it now? Dennis Sheridan. Sister Sledge did that. That was a number 3 tune in 1979, and that was one that the Steelers did go ahead and adopt. I know it came out yesterday that I am a big, definitely a big 80s music fan, and I do know my 80s music really well. I was coming into it in the 70s, and that's when I was learning about the Steelers and the Pirates growing up in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. And We Are Family will always be one of my all-time favorite songs, just because of that connection with Pop Stargell and the Steelers. That was just a heck of a year. So, look, we had glory in 79. We had glory in 89. Let's have some glory in 2019 and keep it going with a win over the Cleveland Browns. With that being said, for BehindTheSteelCurtain.com. Actually, you know what? Before I step that up, I want to go ahead and bring this up. Have you heard about Terrelle Pryor? So, very unfortunate about Terrelle Pryor. Luckily, it seems that after he was stabbed in a Northside apartment last evening, that he is going to. I know he was in critical condition. It looks like he's going to be okay. So that's a guy. I still wish the Steelers would have signed him a couple weeks ago. I really do. But they're going with guys like Deion Kane and going with guys like Tevin Jones. So, they're looking towards the future on that. But I really wish him well. I hope to see him back in an NFL uniform next year. He was arrested as well, so I don't know what happened in that situation. But with that being said, praying for him. And, no matter what happened with the charges, I don't know what happened. All I know is you don't want to hear about anybody having their life in question. And I hope he does have a quick recovery. Kathy Ford, one of my all-time favorites. One of these times, Kathy, you could have a question, but she's just one of our great supporters, wishing for victory tomorrow. Thank you for the $2. Yeah, we are. We're really wishing for that victory. So with that being said, thank you all for spending your time with us here at BehindTheSteelCurtain.com. Remember, check out BehindTheSteelCurtain.com for everything, not just the podcasts that you enjoy, and you enjoy one pretty much every day with Lance, Tony, Jeff, Dave, and myself. Be sure to check out all the fine writers on BehindTheSteelCurtain.com as well. There's usually 10 new articles every single day. I even write my crazy stuff on there as well. And as you can see, I ticked off a a lot of Browns fans today. So that's our reason to go ahead and check things out. All right. So thank you so much, Steeler family. Bad loves you. We will talk to you. Make sure you check out the Steeler post game tomorrow with Lance and Jeff, and hopefully we'll all be celebrating. And I'll see you back again with Tony Defio with the Steeler Hangover on Monday. So with that being said, thank you, Steeler family. You, my friends, have not been hungover because that's not the show. You just helped answer the burning question. Good morning, good day, or good night, wherever you are. Thank you.